Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by Mike Smith, Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 17, and on today's show, we talk about what we're loving this week, and we also get into are NFTs awesome or stupid or both. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund. All right, let's do it. Great. We're going to start this show with what you're loving. Guys, tell me what you're loving. Savon, can you start us off? What have you been loving?
So, what I've been loving, this is something I was doing a little bit in the beginning of quarantine, and then I've kind of fallen back into it, is just watching NBA Hardwood Classics. As it turns out, if you go on YouTube, you can pretty much find almost any NBA playoff game from like the last 30 years. Like you can usually find the individual games and they'll play like the whole game. It's like a 2-hour video, or hour and a half. And yeah, I've been rewatching random old school NBA playoff series just to.
If someone tried to do that
What's
with
better
series for you?
if someone tried to put NFL games on YouTube without the express written consent of the National Football League, Roger Goodell would literally come busting through someone's door and just smash
Like
it.
the Kool-Aid Man?
Yeah, just so you would never think
Oh,
about
no.
possibly
Actually.
sharing trademark content of the National Football League without the express written consent of the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean,
So is Hardwood Classics, is that just like a YouTube channel, or is this like an actual series?
there's something that they actually call Hardwood Classics, which might be something that's actually sponsored or created by the NBA. But if you just go on YouTube and type in X series blank versus blank, usually you'll find some relevant video and you can watch the game.
What's a
Like
game
I'm rewatching the
that you've
95
enjoyed?
finals.
Okay, so what's a game you've enjoyed rewatching lately? 95 finals?
Well, I'm watching series that I was too young to have
Okay.
watched. So
Ouch.
I can
That
inform
was a
my
shot
so I'm
fired.
hating on
Dr.
old
is
J.
such the cool old uncle. He's literally just
No, I'm
spending his
serious.
free time by himself just watching old NBA games.
Yeah, man, this is dope.
I've done it.
Is
But,
this
you know-
research for your top 5 NBA player team?
Oh, your actual
that
starting
is sure to
five? Oh my
underwhelm
God,
and upset
no.
everybody in the world?
How I see it is that my NBA opinions are based in the eye test, and if I want to have opinions about old school players, I need to have actually watched them play. And I get to rewatch old classics anyway, so it's entertaining to me because I would have been 2 at the time. I couldn't have enjoyed that series. But now I'm watching, I'm younger than y'all, but I was watching Shaq and Hakeem go at it. That was thoroughly entertaining.
Hakeem ate
Is
him
that
up.
Orlando versus
Orlando,
Houston on the finals?
Mhm.
Eastern Conference.
They got demolished.
Eastern
didn't they?
Conference Finals.
Yeah, but it's still a good series. It's like, okay, how did he lose? You still see young Shaq balling out. You see older Hakeem. You still get to appreciate the journey.
Well, the Rockets go on to win that year.
Yeah, I mean, I know they win, but I'm like, okay, how did he win?
Yeah.
Did he blow him out? Was it close? Was it competitive?
Who did they play in the finals?
The Magic.
The Magic.
No.
That's
Oh,
Shaq.
Mhm.
No. Okay, you're right. Cool.
The year before was
The Knicks.
yeah.
Don't tell me about it. It's very painful.
But yeah, it's I've been enjoying that. It's been nice. All-Star Weekend, there were no games on.
Was it nice to see Kenny Smith out there balling out and Clyde Drexler?
Wait,
All
Kenny
those guys?
Smith from TNT?
Yeah.
The white
Yeah,
guy?
Yeah, you didn't
right.
know that?
Yeah, he's on those teams.
No, that's Ernie Johnson.
Oh, yeah. The other guy they rip on. So I'm and this is gonna lead into what I'm loving. It's because I have just binged Silicon Valley in the past
So funny.
5 days. I'm surprised you like it, and I'll hit on that in a second. So my Anna went out of town, so I just, as is the way, I turn into a caveman and just revert. I'm drinking beer on a Monday evening. But,
No
you know,
shame in
to
that.
fill the hole in my
my.
heart, I, you know, need to find something I could dive into with, you know, no possible abandon. So I just found this show, which I've been meaning to watch for a while, and I binged it, and it's a really great show. I'm surprised you like it, Wes, because it's really R-rated and, like, pretty grotesque in, like, some of the jokes and things they say. So I was
I don't
like,
know.
sometimes
I
I
enjoy
watch
it.
shows now and I think about how Wes would feel about it, and I'm like, this. And sometimes I say to people who don't know you, and I'm like, this would make Wesley really uncomfortable right now. But
Certain
I
things do
love
make me
it.
uncomfortable.
So it was really funny. It's kind of crazy watching T.J. Miller in the show like for so long before he like kind of lost it a bit. Though it's kind of annoys me because it's kind of like a How I Met Your Mother kind of thing where it's like it's kind of the same problem over and over again, and every problem would be solved if Richard just didn't say or do anything and just sat at his computer all the time. But I like the show, and it was really funny, and like it's very much like an HBO show, not in that it's just like R-rated, but like the way the kind of like comedic arcs go, like things wrap up really well. It's like almost in like a Curb kind of way. Like you have like little arcs within an episode and then things that connect, and the way like they write it resolves to make it way more funny. So that's what I really appreciate about it. It's really bingeable. I'm like just continuing on this meta binge of HBO shows. So I don't know what I'll watch next, but I definitely highly recommend Silicon
Got to
Valley.
get off the mouse, you know, a little bit. Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's all about the end of season 1. Dick to floor ratio.
Dude, that was it's so like those like Jimmy Neutron brain blast moments are
Genius.
so funny and so good, but like that really I feel like set the tone for the show moving forward. Like just like having like really fundamental moments be like absolutely ridiculous and absurd and like disgusting it's so good.
I think I've only heard of the show. So what is it? I don't even. What's the like premise? What's like?
It's
what's
called
the basic
Silicon
premise?
Valley, so it's these guys that start a startup in their living room, and they just like the trials and tribulations of a bunch of nerdy guys like thrust into this really crazy world of starting a tech company in Silicon Valley. It's really cool. It's like got a bit of absurdism to it, but it's got really like
but then they get into hijinks in the process.
yeah, of
just
trying to make
trying
their
to do their
company
thing.
successful, and they always end up fucking it up
Okay,
for
bet.
themselves. It's like super easy watching, but it's like super funny and like it's cool. It's funny like because Thomas Middleditch like now I guess he's always been like improv, but I really typically don't like improv. But he has a whole improv show on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but
It's pretty funny.
do you like? Yeah, you live in
It's
New
with
York, so I
the-
guess you have some experience with improv, huh?
It's with John Ralphio.
Yeah.
From,
Ben
Parks and Rec.
Schwartz. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his name.
So if you're placing
okay.
it on your like canon of comedies, like where are you placing this? Like
high, honestly,
obviously,
like if you're
Curb
just
is your
looking,
top, obviously, right? You always
Yeah.
talk about Curb.
yeah,
Like, you know,
High.
where are we placing this?
it's high up there, man. I think like top 5.
Okay.
And they're all.
This is a comedy I know nothing about, so this.
It's
is
really
exciting.
dope. It's really cool.
I like fun stuff.
There are some jokes in there that like would not pass today, which is crazy because it didn't come out that long ago. But there's like pretty blatant like racism in it, kind of. But it's like somehow written into it that it's like funny between characters, and I guess the jokes were written by people of color. But I don't know. That bit like just seems like this would never stand up today. But like other than that, it's pretty cool. That's a weird way to end a show I really like. Be like, it's racist, but it's fine.
Okay.
Savant's like,
Spoken
"I'm
like white
interested."
trash.
Yeah.
I mean, I just accept that from most. I'm like, hey, that's just charge that to the game.
I would say though, like if you're the least bit interested in tech culture and what goes on with like Facebook and Google and any of that sort of realm of our society, Silicon Valley really nails the culture so well. Just the same way that Mike Judge did with
yeah.
with
King
the
of the
movie
Hill.
Office Space
And King
and
of the Hill.
nailing cubicle culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silicon Valley, like that is exactly. It's almost like too real. That's how cringy it gets. Like when you talk to other people that work in tech.
No, that's cool. I mean, I don't know anything about tech culture, but I feel like that'll make it, fresh for me. And, I don't think Mike has bad taste in comedy. So if it'll be entertaining, I need some funny stuff to watch.
Yeah, check it
Highly
out.
recommend. You should still watch Curb, Savon, and we're not going to do this on this show because I'll just bug you about this endlessly in our personal time.
Well, there's like multiple shows I'm being suggested that I need HBO to watch.
And
so
see, he uses this excuse too. I've given him my login like several times, and like it's literally only
But he's
because
honest.
Yeah,
honest.
no, he's not.
but
He
when I switch
literally just
phones-
lied. He just said he needs a login. What do you mean he's honest?
He just doesn't want you to know what he's watching on your account.
Dude, we'll give you your own profile, Savon. As long as you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm and How To with John Wilson, you can watch whatever weird anime they got on there, man.
No,
There's lots of
no,
anime.
dude. I have multiple people who can give me accounts. I just don't write them down.
Oh
when
my!
you give them to me
I
at that
texted
moment, and
it
I
to
need
you.
like,
I texted it. Look at the lies.
and I think I had
this
switched-
dude is literally
Dude,
looking
I
at me
might have
through this
switched
Zoom
phones.
chat and just lying.
There's something
Alright,
else.
bro.
We could dig deeper into
Yeah,
that. Let's,
in
I don't know.
a later
Alright, bro.
segment.
Let me go to mine. Mine is easy. So I put on my What We're Loving that it's the Lacrosse Peanut Ball. Or Lacrosse Ball Peanut.
You
right?
got
So
your
you're like,
own thing wrong.
I
You
know.
clearly don't love it.
So the
that
Lacrosse
much.
Ball Peanut. And you're like, Wes, what the hell is a Lacrosse Ball Peanut? So if you're
What the
old,
Yeah,
hell
that's
is lacrosse
exactly
ball?
Yeah.
my internal monologues. I'm like,
Actually, I'm just like, what?
So if you're old, right, and you're like back is sore like me, and you wake up and your back is always sore and it's freaking tight, and you're like, damn, like why can't I like stand up exactly straight or like whatever. It's like maybe because your back needs to be stretched out, but like how do you stretch your back out? It's crazy, right? So you can get like a lacrosse ball, which if you don't know what a lacrosse ball is, it's small. It's like the size of a racquetball, but it's like solid. It's not like squishy like a racquetball is. It's like a solid rubber. And so when I went to PT, to physical therapy one time, they had taped 2 lacrosse balls together. So you're like, okay, what does that look like? See, it looks like
does AARP
peanut.
cover this?
AARP. Yeah, man, Medicare. So it's literally like 2 things taped together like a peanut. This one I bought, it's already formed into the same shape, but it's crazy. You lie on this, or you can lie on this, like with it on your back, so that this dent is for your spine, so you're not like rolling on your spine, and then this part, like all your weight is just like literally sitting on these 2 crowns, and it's just like intense pain, but it feels so good because it stretches out your like back muscles. It's nuts, but recommend it.
You know what I tried?
you like
and
that
this
hurt
is,
so
this
good
is
pain.
this is like piggybacking off of what I said and
Okay.
combining with what you said. I tried the
What do you think?
Theragun thing the other day.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It was pretty dope, dude. I don't stretch. Like I'm not in tune with my body at all. Like
His
than
face
when
is
it's
like just
it's
yes.
it was pretty cool. It was fun, and yeah. They're expensive, but like, and I don't do nearly enough of any form of
You're not
physical
extreme.
Activity to warrant
the
purchase like
frolf.
that. Yeah,
not the
besides
frolf.
frolf, but you're not exactly burning yourself out there. But that
but
stuff's dope. So
arm, sure.
when you were first explaining this, I was like, wow, this is what we've come to. But now
This
I
is what
get
it is to be 37, 38 years old. You just
I am excited to hear, Brian, what you have to say, and I'm going to spoil
All right.
what you have to
Take
say
us home,
about it.
Brian.
Actually, I won't spoil it.
Well, I was going to say that I do think I spotted a Theragun on the bench during the NBA All-Star game. So it is not just for old decrepit people.
But
It's also for elite
but are we
athletes.
elite athletes?
I don't
But you
think
can
I'm
only be
old.
one of the
I'm
two.
just decrepit. I don't know if that's better or worse.
Probably
Yeah.
worse, but
It's getting old, man.
you could be on the
Getting-
upswing.
Yeah, it could be the upswing. Probably not, but I could be. But anyway,
That's
Brian.
enough of the lacrosse ball peanut. No one cares about it. No one can even see what I'm talking about.
It looked like a giant black turd. It looked like elephant dung that's hardened over several years, and now you're using it to massage your back.
I feel like my dog would destroy.
Oh,
that.
it's like the same material as a
Yeah,
Kong.
it's
Yeah, dude.
Kong.
Yeah.
How much did that
like that.
cost?
It came with another like single one, so I think that was like maybe $20 or something. It wasn't too
Okay, I was
expensive.
thinking like if it was gonna be like some kind of like obnoxious health, exercise shit that was really expensive.
Oh,
Be
there's
like,
other
just buy
things
a
like the
Kong
chirp
and just
wheel.
roll your back on that, man.
Have you heard the chirp wheel?
Yeah, and fill it with peanut
Yeah.
butter.
That's
You-
what we do for our dog. Our dog loves peanut butter.
I'm literally looping. I'm on fire right now, boys. I'm just looping in every
No.
single topic that's been brought up. Yeah.
Oh my!
All right,
All right,
Brian. What are you
I'm
loving?
excited to hear what Brian has to say about it.
All right. So, when we reviewed trailers the other week, this fell off our trailer list because nobody was excited for it except for me.
No, I said I was
And
into it.
I'm talking about
I said I was into
Raya
it.
and the Last Dragon.
Not even giving me credit.
You were into it, but like it wasn't like ringing bells for
All right.
anybody.
Not
But
for
I gotta
me, I'll
say,
admit that.
I was excited for it, and it exceeded my expectations. It was really good. I highly recommend it. I'm so happy like this thing exists. It was just like such a good epic adventure story. Original IP for Disney. Really fun, engaging characters, lush art direction. It's so colorful. It's very unique. We really haven't seen anything like this. But I would say it does kind of have Black Panther vibes in the art direction because it's super colorful. You know, they have like different nations within the world that they've built in Raya and the Last Dragon. That's very similar to the different tribes of Wakanda. And then you've got this great core story at the heart of it. Kind of a tearjerker, very much about loss, but also about hope and believing in people and all of that good stuff. I would actually put Raya and the Last Dragon in the same breath as Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Dragon Prince. It's very much that type of epic adventure, but in a 2-hour format.
It's 2 hours.
So in a way,
That's a 2-hour Disney movie?
I mean, it's probably less than that. It's probably like 1:45. But, with The Last Airbender, you're getting, 3 whole seasons of a huge epic arc. And I could definitely see something like that being applied to Raya and the Last Dragon's world. So I think it's pretty fantastic. I wouldn't say it's flawless or anything like that, but it's a really great film, and part of it is because it's original, it's unique.
All right, I'm sold.
So this movie is Disney. It's not Pixar, correct?
Correct.
It's Disney. It's the same studio that made Moana.
Okay.
So like from an animation standpoint, it seems like this studio has really kicked it up a notch, just in terms of the level of detail in their animation. Like I kept staring at people's hair and like the dragon's hair for a lot of moments and just in awe of what they're capable of doing. I think it's maybe still slightly behind a Pixar level of animation, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And what it lacks in that gold level quality, it more than makes up for with this cool original adventure story and like incredible fight scenes, and all these characters that you immediately root for, like as soon as they're introduced. And it's also got this sort of like I said, it's got that fantasy epic vibe. So, it's sort of like assembling different characters from different nations or different tribes or what have you, and they're all sort of coming together for this singular purpose, and it's a fun journey.
So you watched this on Disney Plus, right? Because
did.
It is out in theaters. It is out in theaters. So
it's out in theaters. I really want to see it in a theater. That's like one of the first things I said after I finished watching it. Like, oh man, this would be so cool in a theater. And so like my family was really into it. I watched it with my siblings and my mom and stuff. They were really into it, and they started right after we watched it. They started looking up AMC's rent-a-theater deal.
Okay.
Wow.
Just to watch this film, which is something cool that if people don't know, AMC, for like $100 you could rent a whole theater for an old movie, and then I think for like $250 you can rent the whole.
You can get
$10
off if you enter promo code confidently wrong. Visit it.
Enter
website,
confidently
guys.
wrong. Enter code comfy.
If it doesn't work the first time, just keep trying.
So the cast is pretty lit too. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, Gemma Chan is in it.
Well, as Kelly Marie Tran,
Kelly Marie
who I
Tran.
guess is the lead.
Yep, she does the main voice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Star
Yeah.
which
Wars.
like I
hatred.
guess good for
Star Wars
good for
fanboy
her.
hatred.
Like wait, because her character got a lot of hate. Aquafina, obviously, Gemma Chang.
It's got our friend Benedict Wong.
No one in
I
the
believe.
cast felt like they were super noticeable, though. No one came out like a James Earl Jones or
Oh,
Eddie
have you
Murphy,
have you seen
except
it as well?
Awkwafina. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
I sent the text and I said I,
I think
watched it. It was
Aquafina is
awesome.
pretty obvious.
You send
Not
a
paying
lot of texts, Wesley, and
Oh my
we're gonna
God.
do
I
a
don't send
segment
that
on
many
that.
texts.
You send a lot of texts. It
Wes
also
buries his own
it,
text.
It also has Daniel Day Kim of Lost fame. So
Lost.
shout out there.
Correct.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid cast. Yeah, through and through, 2 thumbs up.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I think there's like all kinds of there's something for everybody, right? There's comedic moments. They had really heartfelt moments. They I think there's parts that are uplifting, parts that are tough. It's not always like straightforward, like here's the moral of the story. I mean, they definitely do that too in the way that Soul did it. Where the main sort of message of the story is very clear, but it felt more earned in this movie, I think, a little bit than it did in Soul. Just like by a little bit. I didn't think Soul did a bad job. I just thought like it felt a little bit like rushed. In this one, it did not feel rushed. Like the whole movie was building towards this idea. It was a lot of fun to see. Brian, did you think Filipino culture was represented there? Because I know they were trying to pull from Thai culture and Cambodian culture and maybe a little bit Vietnamese. But I didn't know if you thought that
Very
Filipino
much
culture
Vietnamese.
was represented there.
That's cool.
I mean, the screenwriters are Vietnamese. And I think so. So for those that don't know, the whole backdrop of the film is like a mixture of Southeast Asian cultures, and so Southeast Asian is like Vietnam, Myanmar, Burma, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, etc. Right, and so all these cultures have a lot of overlap. So it's not always easy to discern what they're drawing from, or which country, which culture specifically they're drawing from. But there's definitely, in the way certain characters dress, certain nations dress in the film, where you're like, yeah, that could definitely be Filipino, but at the same time, it could also be Indonesian. I mentioned this before in one of our other episodes, that the sword that Raya carries, the wavy sword, is designed after like a Filipino indigenous tribe sword.
It's pretty tight.
Like they show like rice terraces in the film, which look very much like the Philippines, but they could easily be, I don't know,
Other places, yeah.
they could easily be like Vietnam or
Yeah.
something. I don't
So
No,
know.
it's
one
very
of the
cool.
writers is Vietnamese and the other is Malaysian.
Cool.
I stand corrected.
But good point though, Brian. On the Black Panther comparison, because I'm thinking about it, and a lot of the powerful tribes presented in Black Panther were fictional, but they were still drawn in their style of dress, unique things from different, African cultures. So, because I'm sure there's definitely a similar phenomenon.
Is the whole movie, does it have any
overlap.
non-English language in it? Because
Mm,
Black Panther, that was a huge
no.
thing, like when they were actually speaking Xhosa and stuff.
I didn't notice if there was.
I think the closest is the grunting from the main villains.
I think it's
or
all,
sound
I think it's all
effects,
English.
whatever those things are. Yeah, it's all in English, and thank goodness there's no singing whatsoever.
Oh,
that was the one thing I was
worried
asking
about.
that.
Turn up.
The music
You guys
in
are
Moana
worried.
is pretty lit. I mean, like,
because
I prefer non-musicals. I
Huh.
will say
If you start singing, I'll immediately lose interest. I'm like, why are you
that
singing?
seems harsh, but
To
we
be
can-
honest, I've
That's what
never
CDs are
sat
for.
through the entire Moana film.
it's a good
because of
movie.
the-
I
I-
only
I
watched
fall
it
asleep during the
as
singing.
a teacher. Like I only watched it putting it on for kids, but it's good in terms of watching a movie in that setting. It's a good movie.
I used to put on Planet Earth.
Planet Earth, great too.
Yeah, but after
All right.
testing, you got a lot of content, a lot of airtime you got to fill, man.
Planet
All
Earth.
right.
Blue
I
Planet.
can't believe you guys don't like Disney shows that are musical or Disney movies that are musical.
I do, but
that's
I
like
the
always will
majority of
prefer
their-
something that's
They're
not a
cool, they're
musical.
fine.
And I
Alright.
love those, like when I was a kid, and I guess y'all were, in the throes of puberty when those movies came out. I love those. Um, the classics. But like now for movies, like the music just doesn't hit the same. And that's also like a hot take, like with Frozen.
That is super
like
hot
those
take. Like
songs
Frozen
being
went
You're just
crazy.
old, Mike. You're just not a
No.
kid anymore. You can't hate on what kids enjoy.
So now let's pivot from
Let's pivot.
Disney movies
Pivot.
to cryptocurrency. And I
Okay.
can get real upset.
So this is going to be real straightforward. I don't think we need to talk about this very long. I wanted to bring up this idea of non-fungible tokens, NFTs. So recently, the NBA has released what are called Top Shots. And the idea behind a Top Shot, if you haven't heard about it, is basically that the NBA will package a highlight, like let's say a dunk, from multiple different camera angles, like a short YouTube clip, and you get to see it from like the top of the basket, the regular feed, maybe a little bit of like extra animation thrown in. And this moment is then packaged and sold as if it's a trading card, but a digital trading card. So you technically own this highlight somehow, right? Like you have the rights to it. And you get it in what's called a pack, which is just like a trading card pack, right? Except the digital like equivalent. And what's part of the deal is that they are uniquely numbered within their like code somehow, right? They're encoded with a unique identifier. And the blockchain that exists for this marketplace lists you, if you bought it, as the owner. And you can then sell that thing as if you own it, and somebody else can buy it and they become the owner on the blockchain. And so it works a little bit like a Bitcoin, except instead of you owning like a serial number, you own a serial number that also is attached to, some kind of thing like an NBA highlight. There have been like gifts that have sold like this. The spending on this is ramped up over the past month, and it's really ramped up over the past couple of weeks. And I just want to know from you guys, based on what I've talked about, and based on what you know, are you in or are you out on NFTs going forward?
Can I say one thing before we dive in? I saw, and this kind of sums up. I saw a meme. It was like a pretend, like celebrities now when they get canceled, they'll try and apologize by like writing a letter on the Notes app. Yes. And this is like a meme count. It's called Wipe Ya Docs Off. I'm assuming it's kind of punk related if they're talking about Doc Martens. It says, I'd like to formally apologize to all my followers for failing to make any content about NFTs during its brief peak memeability. I'm constantly striving to improve myself in the way I engage with trends. I hope some of you may find a space in your heart to forgive me and recognize that I'm a human being that makes mistakes. I'm taking this as a learning opportunity and will continue to grow. Thanks for listening. So everyone go follow Wipe Your Docs Off. And that like... So I don't remember specifically what the question is, but like, do I buy it? Like, no. But here's the thing. So that was my first point. My second point is that people are buying these. Like, there's some of them are selling for the six figures, like 108,000, like for the equivalent of like rookie cards or whatever. My third point is it's not just this now. Kings of Leon are putting out their album as an NFT. Their new album. So like now people are using it as how they can source music rather than Spotify hosting it.
They're going to release it on Spotify. They're going to do the normal thing.
But they're also
just if you want to own a limited edition version of their album, complete with extra little doodads hooked in, you need to pay extra to own. Well, not extra, but you need to buy these serialized numbers that are digital versions of a Bitcoin, basically.
Oh wait, can I tell? I actually do have. I have a really quick story about this.
Did you buy one on accident?
No.
Now you're rich?
I would have had been Bitcoin rich.
Okay.
When I was in college, and y'all were already grown and massaging your backs with peanuts and whatnot.
I had grandkids already.
I was under the age of 21 and wanted to purchase alcohol. Like many people, I don't know if this is implicating myself, but I'm hoping there's a statute of limitations. I wanted to buy a fake ID. So I wanted to do that. A friend of mine knew how you can get them off the Silk Road or like the deep web or whatever. So the way you paid for that was with a Bitcoin. Let me look up the price of a Bitcoin.
It's probably a
today.
fraction of a Bitcoin, but yeah.
How much is a Bitcoin worth? We'll see. So I was
It's something
buying.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like
this-
10,000 or something.
No, I think it's way higher than that. It was $53,000 today
Currently?
for
Okay.
one Bitcoin. Back
Alright.
then, when I was buying this fake ID, it would have cost half a Bitcoin. So I
Jesus.
bought a whole Bitcoin and I sent this guy. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
Half.
I only bought half of Bitcoin. I only bought exactly what I needed. And I
Okay.
sent the fake ID person the money, and the place they were selling the fake IDs with got shut down, and everything got seized by the FBI, including my half a Bitcoin, which I bought for $50, and as of today would have been worth $26,000.
Woo!
I didn't invest in Bitcoin then. I have not up until this point, and what I'm definitely not going to invest in is Top Shot. So it's like, it seems like everything I was reading, it like can't decide, like, is this like an investing cryptocurrency, or is this really just collecting? And like, if you're gonna invest in some form of crypto, I wouldn't recommend buying like a rookie card for someone, or I could try to think of a good basketball joke there, but absolutely airballed. But there's a good basketball pun.
LaMelo.
But yeah, I am not buying it. I think it's
Brian, what do you
funny.
think?
A lot of people don't get it,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to hear y'all.
I'm going to share another story. So not only are they creating these basketball card NFTs, but they're also creating like original computer
Mhm.
artwork NFTs that I've seen. And so one of my wife's coworkers, who is a motion graphics designer, created a series of very short animated GIFs of like these really cool
He says
looking
GIFs.
king, queen, and jack, like from a deck of cards, king, queen, and jack characters, and together, all three together form this cool triptych where it turns out that the king is poisoned, and the jack is looking at the poison bottle, and the queen is smirking because she's the one that poisoned the king.
Can we make an
Anyway.
NFT of you explaining this NFT?
Absolutely, it will probably cost .00000 Ethereum.
How many
Whereas-
Dogecoin, though?
Maybe like half a Satoshi. No, I don't know. I don't know what any of this stuff means. But the king card of that triptych sold for 30 Ethereum, which at the time it was sold is worth $50,000.
Jesus.
And the next one in that series, the queen, is I think so far is like up to 3 or 5 Ethereum, but the bidding is still open. So these sort of digital collectibles, like there's a ton of money going into them. And I get it. I'm somebody who used to collect basketball cards like crazy. I collected Marvel cards like crazy. I had Looney Tunes
What?
cards. Who had Looney
What?
Tunes cards? Like, and I've talked about loving board games. A lot of what I like about board games is just buying them. I don't even play like 3/4 of them regularly. But they're very nice art objects to have, right? They're really cool to look at, fun to touch. Same is true for vinyl records. Me and Mike have talked about, jazz records before. I'm totally in on my 1960s jazz records, which feel like really cool collectibles. Even though I can go listen to the same music on Spotify and it doesn't have any ticks or pops.
Do you feel like
when
that's
play.
the same?
So I'm not saying that they're the same, because one thing about collectibles is that, well, physical collectibles is that they're art objects. They're things that you can touch and you look at and you can admire, and you kind of look at them from multiple different angles and you interact with them, right? And just sort of like even housing your collection has like a nice experience related to it. So it's kind of like people are taking that idea of collectible, but just stripping all the physical joy that you get out of it. And just going for the pure the pure benefit of what it's worth, of its value, of like having that one super rare basketball card that was your pride and joy. Like that's kind of like what they're going for. And I have a feeling a lot of these things are also going to get lost. There's definitely people have lost Bitcoins that way.
So many.
Oh God.
So I think it's sort of this weird future we're heading towards. But just wait till they start dropping MCU NFTs. People are going to go wild.
So wild. Wait, can I say one thing about the display physical thing? They have, for the NBA Top Shots at least, they have tried to replicate a little bit of that, in that you can go to a person's profile and see which cards they have or which Top Shots they have. And so
rich people can flex on each other.
Yeah, so like in the way that like you might have your record collection displayed or your Funko Pops or whatever, you can sort of browse other people's Mike just held up his Michael Thomas, I'm sorry, Funko Pop.
I have a Doomfist one.
Oh, a Spidey one. That one's cool. You can kind of do that. You can kind of browse other people's things. And what I was wondering is like, is that sort of a weird invasion of privacy? Why do you guys have all these Funko Pops? Same thing, I guess, right?
Because I'm trying. I brought them from my desk in the office, so people know that, like,
it's
I'm
a fun desk. You're a fun guy.
Yeah.
It's an expression of art.
Right. Well, apparently Brian and Mike are already into Funko Pops. Anyways, my problem with this, and my gut reaction is like, not that this is dumb, but like, I don't see that there is value long term in this at all. For the same reason you guys have said, it's like, well, at the end of the day, this Top Shot, you could see this highlight on YouTube. Like, you don't own the highlight. You literally own just the serial number, which is a package of a highlight, but really you own the serial number. And like, because like if you get number 1, right, that's supposed to be the most valuable one, the 1 out of, 50 or 1 out of 350 or whatever it is. And I'm like, there's nothing there. Like, what are you paying for? But the same thing is true for Bitcoin, right? Like you don't
Bitcoin
own anything
is
for
more
Bitcoin.
of like an actual investment. Like,
well, but it's only an investment because people have been able to convert it to
I like the article.
The
article you sent us, it was like, it started and it said like, let's be clear here, all money is fake. So like, there's that point. We don't need it, but like, in terms of like an investment, Top Shot like is probably not going to be a successful cryptocurrency. So like, in terms of the actual product aspect of it, like, it does not strike me. And I like, look, people said the internet
that's what it is.
Wasn't going to work, so we could all be way off here. It does not strike me as something like the average person is going to go out of their way to have. Maybe sometimes these things are really just meant for like rich dudes, like. And like, part of that is always going to appeal to them. Like, even if it's totally useless, like having like do you remember when Wu-Tang put out that one of a kind? No, when there's more like when Wu-Tang put out that one of a kind album, and that Pharma Bro Shkreli excuse me, bought it, and like, it was just like the worst possible outcome there. So it's like, this strikes me as way more along those lines, as rather than either like an actual like cool collectible thing. We'll see how the music part of it plays out, but like, I think like the reason I brought up that meme in the beginning is like, it really did come and go. It does not have the legs, like, at least in the media, that you would think would be indicative of it getting like the widespread hold that something like this needs to be successful. Like, you need people buying it in order for the value to go up. So it's like, if people aren't really interested in it as a product, like, I don't really see how it's viable as a cryptocurrency either. So it's just kind of like, what is going on here?
Savon, what you think? You buying into Top Shot?
First of all, a lot of how I feel stems from what Brian said, in terms of, collectibles have value, but the value still comes in you actually using it and having a tactile experience. Or, like, I don't collect vinyls, but I completely understand why people collect vinyls. But like, I have a bunch of teacups, just because they have value to me, so I buy them, and there's an experience associated, right? That's why you buy anything.
Hold up, you collect teacups?
I mean, not like collect, but like, I buy lots of mugs.
Wait,
any money?
That's so different than a teacup.
If I see No,
I
okay,
know
sorry,
you
a mug.
largely
I use
drink
it.
tea out of these, but I know what Wesley was thinking. He was imagining like Alice, like
No,
on some
not
Alice
like
in Wonderland
no.
shit. Like
No, not like
sipping
an
Definitely
Alice in
pinkies
fine
up.
china. So like, let me just paint a picture because I think a lot of our listeners love you and would imagine this. You walk inside a tough day of work, you drop your bag down. You flip the light switch from, a normal light to purple. You somehow rip off all of your clothes at once to reveal just like a gold set of briefs. You reach over in the closet, pull out a purple robe, put it on, take out a little British teacup, pour yourself a nice cup of chai, and sit down to enjoy some anime.
Don't forget about the essential oil diffuser.
He's not wrong.
The diffusers.
But I like mugs. But my point is that all of these things ultimately have value to you. Like, it has value to you because there's an experience associated. What is different about all of this, and I think this is to the bane of people who actually do like to use the products, these things aren't products. They're just means to an end for money. Like, you just gotta, like, call it what it is. Like, people who like resell shoes, like it happens with almost anything online, right? Like the people who were buying PlayStations weren't buying game consoles; they were buying a means to an end for more money, an investment. And it doesn't matter if it's short term or not. People are gonna do what makes them money in the moment, or what they think can make them money in the moment. So it's not about the long term; it's about you getting it in the moment while it's hot. I guess same with the GameStop thing, right? Like, it pops off, you try to ride the wave, you try to capitalize, get your money.
But I don't know if there's any reselling market for these, and I don't know.
Well,
so that'll be, but like that's the whole part of what you're saying, right? Like that market exists for cards, for shoes, for what have you.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. There's different levels of cards that are different varying amounts of popularity. So it's not just going to be the 6-figure cards that how this, these are bought. People are going to buy some that start at 100 and then can go up to 400, and that's something that something like us could theoretically get into just to flip to make a few extra bucks, and that's always going to be appealing to people. So this stuff is always going to be a thing. So I don't buy into it at all because ultimately to me it just feels like gambling, but I understand why people do it. But it sucks because, well, for this stuff it doesn't suck because it's like not people's actual products, but I think the culture of it generally sucks.
I think
like it's impossible to buy a pair of shoes online if you like kids. It's true. If you want to wear shoes, it is. I've tried like 5 different times to buy these niche pair of shoes that I wanted because they were really dope, and I was gonna buy the Captain Marvels when they came out. They had some Captain Marvel Adidas, instantly sold out by resellers.
It's like
to them,
PS5
it's not a shoe;
kind
it's
of
a
thing.
means to an end for money.
But that's
Same
like
thing. And so,
but I guess it all comes back to that being a physical thing. I mean, the last thing I think we can get out of here, but like, it's hard for people. I think you have to kind of convince people why this warrants owning. And that's never a good start for a collectible of being like, here's why you should want this and like you should want to collect this. And we were talking to our friend Evan about it. Like someone posted something in a group chat we were in, and someone was like, yeah, it's essentially like you own like a unique GIF of like an athlete. And he was like, dude, hasn't anyone ever heard of screen record before?
Right. That's my problem
That's
with
not
it.
the point, though.
But that's what
the
Bitcoin
serial
is.
number
Right.
associated with
Bitcoin
it.
is just a serial number.
Money
Yeah,
is.
money's just a serial
Money
number.
is fake.
Yeah,
It's the certificate of authenticity. That's
it.
all they want.
The
And
paper
that makes
dollars
that
we
thing
have ain't worth shit.
scarce. Yeah. It makes what they have scarce, and whenever there's scarcity, demand is going to be through the roof.
Car collectors don't.
We're just gonna
like,
let him
people
get
collect
away
the
with
expensive
Scarce?
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah,
don't play
what?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
We're not.
So y'all said, yeah, I'm a little frustrated at everyone because he just said that y'all have been saying GIF.
It
I'm
is
just like, oof,
okay.
this is
First
rough.
off, this is a GIF show. Just saying.
I think Ryan and our team GIF.
All right. Well, you know what? That's up for debate. I don't think
guy
anybody
Civil
good
War
here will say
says
you
GIF.
pronounce the word scarce.
Maybe it's an alternate pronunciation.
Yeah, I mean,
Brian's not saying
Yeah,
that.
like,
You know,
nothing.
Scarceface.
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 Nah,
oh my God.
but hey,
I love that
I've had words
Pacino movie.
Scarface.
Oh my God. All right.
Al Cappuccino. We can put it in your
Oof.
teacups. Wait, did you guys look at the link I sent you? You can get a leather teacup holster and wear it on your side. So whenever you need a thing of tea, cup of tea, you've got it right on your hip.
Don't encourage me.
Savon is stroking his beard with
Anticipation.
with desire.
All right,
That's not.
this episode
So
is
much
done,
intrigue
right?
right now.
We're just shit.
All right,
talking
Also,
now.
I love the fact
So let's
that it's not just one teacup holster.
You
There's
should
like
end it like a
50.
minute before.
No
that,
way, this
'cause
is
we
amazing.
Okay.
Savon is really dialed into this website, guys. He cannot speak. He's just literally looking at this Etsy shop of teacup leather holsters that you can wear.
I had to alt
That you can
tab.
wear.
I had to alt tab. All right. Okay.
All right.
cool.
Well,
cool.
we're not gonna ride the wave. It sounds like of NFTs, but we are gonna check out and enjoy and stan Raya the Last Dragon and Silicon Valley and what is this? Lacrosse Ball Peanut for the win. Friends, thanks so much. Find us on Instagram, Twitter @confidently_pod. Make sure that you subscribe, listen up. We had a great time. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.